Hi, fans. Back for episode 4 of Cancer Called How Will You Answer? And today we're going to be discussing pancreatic cancer and alternative medicine to address that diagnosis. Today with me, I have Debbie, straight out of Cincinnati, again, my hometown. And I've known Debbie for over 15 years, over 13 years now. I believe I met you back when I was about 23. And this is actually the lady that brought me into the charity world, and definitely brought my heart with it. So thank you for joining us, Debbie.
Oh,
Why
thank
don't
you.
you go ahead and let us know about your diagnosis, if you still have cancer, and how you're managing to deal with it.
All right. I'd be happy to. I started feeling badly in 2017. I had some kind of gut issues that I just couldn't, and I kept going to the doctor and saying, something doesn't feel right. I don't know what's going on, yada, yada. And I'm not a person that ever ran to the doctor all the time because I was healthy. I didn't, you know. So at any rate, they did all these tests, so on and so forth. Um, he kind of thought it was going to be gallbladder. So they scheduled my gallbladder to take out in December of 17. They took it out. It came out. Well, the pain didn't go away. So apparently it wasn't my gallbladder. So continued to go back, and he kept saying, I don't know, what it is. He was befuddled. So I finally said to him, would you give me one more CAT scan? I said, if it doesn't show anything, then I'll just write this off that I got some kind of bad stomach. I don't know. So they did one more CAT scan, and that was on Good Friday of 18. And he calls me and he told me, he said, I have to tell you, you've got pancreatic cancer. And
So they told you that over the phone, Debbie?
over the phone.
That's surprising. Yeah.
Right. And told me I had like 3 to 6 months to live. So I
Wow.
said, what? So I immediately, when you get this diagnosis, it's like a punch in the gut. You're just in shock. You don't know what to
Right.
do. But my first reaction was, well, I'm going to get this taken care of right away. So I'm going to get with a doctor, whatever. Well, my good friend's son worked at UC and had some connections. So he got me into a surgeon and a oncologist within days. So I got in there, and of course, the surgeon says, because the location of mine, it's wrapped around the celiac nerve, which is the main nervous system through your center of your body. And
Wow.
so it's inoperable.
So meaning when you say inoperable, that means no surgery, because
None.
it can affect the rest of your nervous system.
Correct. So, and no radiation. So my only option at that time was chemo. So I was in chemo within a week and a half. I started chemo, and my very first dose of chemo, because from what I understand, the concoction they put together for pancreatic cancer is one of the most lethal concoctions they have. It's got everything but the kitchen sink in it.
Wow.
Well, I immediately, within 15 minutes, had a reaction. My tongue swelled. I couldn't touch the pole. I was sensitive to the cold on the IV pole. And I tried to walk, and I had a drop foot. I couldn't, and that was within 15 minutes.
So
So
of the first chemo treatment, because I really want the fans to understand that, Debbie. I don't mean to cut you off, but I definitely want to make sure everyone's following you. That's insane to know that something is wrapped around your nervous or your main nervous connection, I guess, nervous system connection. You sit down, you've been told you only have 3 to 6 months to live. And the first thing that would pull you out of that to at least you think would extend your life would be a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's insane. Like I feel like we all need to digest that. Like that's insane.
So,
Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
it was pretty frightening. So I then they took out whatever medication they figured out that was, which I don't know what I can't tell you the names of the
Yeah.
drugs that were in there. But at any rate, I know the one they call it Foxfuron, which they call the nickname for it is 5 feet under.
That sounds
So,
worse than Red Devil. If you
it,
and Debbie watches my episodes, and there was on the second episode she had one called the Red Devil, and yours is 5 feet under.
yeah,
And they
5
think
feet under.
people want to put this in their body.
I
Yeah,
know.
give me that.
I know.
I got nothing.
Well, so I progressively got worse and worse and worse. I had 6 treatments. By the 6th treatment, I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. They had me going for fluids every other day, IV fluids. They had no real recourse or, to tell me what do we do now? So I mean, I literally could not walk from my bed to the bathroom, which was, I don't know, 10 feet maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do that. So I told my family I was done. I said, I am not doing work, because their solution was to do 6 more.
And I already can't walk to the bathroom. I feel like crap because chemo makes you feel like crap. And I'm taking 5 feet under.
Yeah.
Like what?
No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my opinion, I don't know why they don't read the patient and why wouldn't they look at me and say, well, we got to figure out something different. She's not doing well with the chemo, but
Right.
there's really no other options in Western medicine besides the chemo, the radiation, and surgery. That's all they have in their toolbox. Mm-hmm. So my daughters and my sister came to me and said, if we do some research, would you be willing to do something different? And I said, oh, okay. I can't do any research myself. I'll do whatever you ask me.
Right.
So they researched. I said, I said, could you please keep me in the United States? I really don't want to go.
You knew what they were about to do. They were about to go far and long looking for something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so at any rate, they found a clinic in Germany called Huflen Clinic. And it's in Bad Mergentheim, Germany, which is 2 hours south of Frankfurt, Germany. So there was a place in Santa Barbara, California, but the reason they didn't want me to go there was because it wasn't inclusive of providing your meals. And the Germany program was all inclusive. They gave you vegetarian meal, that's all you ate.
Wow. Okay.
And so, but they knew if I had to do that on my own, because at the other one, you had to find your own lodging and you had to then report to this facility and then get your treatments and go find your own food and all that kind of stuff. So they said,
they
no.
knew that wasn't going to work. So was it a trial? Did they consider it a trial, or was it like really a treatment facility?
Where I went?
Yeah.
In Germany?
Yeah.
No, it's a bona fide clinic that treats cancer patients from all over the world. They came from all over. So anyway, I flying to Germany, and when I got up that morning, I had a really bad, something in my neck. I felt like a crick in my neck, and I went, what? Ugh. And I didn't feel very good. But anyway, went ahead, got on the plane. Well, in hindsight, found out I was in the beginnings of a blood clot in my arm. So,
and do you think the chemo caused that?
Well, chemo, yes, that's a side effect of chemo. I had one earlier in my leg. So this was the second one. Mhm.
Hmm.
So anyway, 27 hours later, because we missed a connection in Detroit, I end up in Germany. I mean, I'm sick. I don't even remember the flight. I don't remember any of it. And they get me to the clinic, and the doctors there looked at me and said, you're going to the ER. And so they sent me to an ER at a German hospital, and I went there, and anyway, ended up being there for 7 days. Had blood
And I'm
transfusions.
assuming, I'm sorry, I'm assuming they sent you there because of that blood clot. My first thought was you wake up to go get help, and then going in the airplane, I don't know if that thins our blood or makes it
Yeah,
worse, or
it's not.
but
Yeah,
it had to make it worse, I would think.
yeah, it's not a good place to be to have a blood clot in a
Yeah.
plane.
Mm.
So
7 days.
anyway, I ended up there
Ooh.
7 days, and when I got back, the doctor at the clinic just looked at me. He said, "I didn't expect to see you back again." And he said, when I saw you, your systems were shutting down, your kidneys. I don't know what else was shutting down, but he said, I didn't expect to see you back. So anyway,
Wow.
Hoofland Clinic is an alternative facility over in Germany. They treat the mind, the spirit, and the body.
All
So,
important.
so you have a room. It's like being in a dormitory. You know, you have a room, and they allowed my husband to stay in the room with me, and they allowed him to eat all the meals with me.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, so he was with me, and every day from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, I was in some form of treatment, be it ozone treatments where they oxygenate your blood, vitamin C intravenously, and then acupuncture, massage,
Wow, they do it all.
biofeedback, meditation, Reiki. It was unbelievable. You just went from,
Yeah.
it was like being in college, going from class to class to class, but you were getting treatment all day
That
long.
probably was exhausting still, though, right? Because you already didn't feel well and you just fought a blood clot. How did
It
they
was,
get that out, by the way? Or how did they
it just,
address that?
well, you get a blood thinner. They give you that
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
heparin. I've been on that for fertility treatments. Mm,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
You had to give yourself a shot.
Yeah. One of many every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. So within 2 weeks, I was out of the wheelchair and walking again. And then by the end of my stay, like across from the clinic is this beautiful park in this little village. So my husband would take me every day and have me walk a little bit more each day, a little bit more each day, a little bit more. So
Yeah.
at then the end, I could walk all the way to the village up by myself, and back. And then they had all these springs. What do you call it? The
Like
waters.
natural water springs.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's like they have different. They treat different things with the different springs.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, one might be circulation. Let's say, something like that. So I went to the spas, and I walked in the park, and then I had art therapy and yeah, laughing yoga.
Okay, I
Um,
feel like I need to get a piece of paper down or a piece of paper down. That didn't even make any sense. I think I need to get a piece of paper and write down every class you took because when you said art therapy, that kind of jolted me a little bit because I always talk to my friends and family about how I color all the time.
yeah,
And some people laugh because it's adult coloring books, but the patterns, I think help me think and process through
Yeah.
things, but I'm still calm. And especially when I have like on classical music. So you know how I am about the arts, Debbie.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
that really says something. But even when you said the springs, I'm like, we have those here in the United States.
Yeah.
Maybe some of us that are cancer patients should look into that if we can't
Yeah.
get to Germany. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that, I mean, and 3 meals a day, we're all vegetarian. And then you had all these different medications they had you take and supplements and
Yeah.
so on. So by the time I came back, my um, tumor or mass was had shrunk and was stable. So I came back
Unbelievable.
home. Oh, mistletoe. That's the other thing I got. Mistletoe.
Yeah, the mistletoe.
That's intravenous as
And
well.
we
And
know
they
the
don't
mistletoe over your head, right? Where they say kiss
grow.
under the mistletoe. Hmm.
Well, it grows in those trees and it grows in different trees and different trees. Like my mistletoe comes from an apple tree
Okay.
to treat my cancer. So, that's, I don't know. I mean, don't ask me how they extract it, and because
Yeah, and
it's in liquid form in vials is how I get it. And then they add it to some the solution.
solution.
Yes. And you get it intravenously.
You know what's insane about that, Debbie? I don't know. We talked about this before when I had first got cancer. I've heard of a lot of things, in my 39 years, usually because of people like you, friends like
Mhm.
you. I consider you family because, like I said, you brought me into the charity world. But when you hear something like mistletoe and it being compressed or however they put it in a vial, and the United States being one of the strongest and richest countries in the world, one of the richest countries. I never say we're the richest country anymore because I think there's money hiding somewhere in other places. But how has that never come up in
They've been
cancer?
using mistletoe in Germany for over 70 years.
This blows my mind. I can't wait to share this with the doctors that are going to be on the show. Like, how does
Right.
that never come up? Not
Right.
even an option.
No,
Blows my mind.
it's not FDA approved here. However, they sent me home with a script of it, and then I had to find a doctor that would administer it to me here. And fortunately, and then it's like you just said, by talking to people,
Hmm.
the more you talk to people in the same situation, you get more information than you really get from your medical professionals, in my opinion.
Hmm. Hmm.
And a friend of mine was going through uterine cancer, and she went to this naturopathic doctor in Blue Ash, and she said, try Dr. Blattman. He may be willing to do something like that. So
Shout out to
I
Dr.
called,
Blattman.
yep. So I called him, and he'd never heard of it before. He'd never done it before, but he said, I'll try
See?
it. I'll do it. So
Wow. And they allow him to do that because he's a medical professional and he can give it intravenously. So do you think, let me take
well,
a
he's
step
not a,
back.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
well,
he's not a medical professional.
no, he is, but he's not affiliated with any like big university or hospital, or
Okay.
he's
Okay.
freestanding.
So when I think of you coming home with a script and your tumor has shrunk and stable, and before they gave you 3 to 6 months to live, kind of recapping here, you're holding this prescription. Where do you go to get that filled? Like a compound pharmacy? Because again, I can't wait to get feedback on this and how many people have
Mhm.
heard of mistletoe besides kissing under one. So how do
Mhm.
you obtain that to give to the
A-
doctor?
Well, actually, Dr. Blattman found a source in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So they manufacture it there. I don't understand all the FDA rules. I don't know what all that
Yeah.
means, but that's where we get it from, some facility in Wisconsin.
And I know the insurance doesn't pay for that. That's not happening. So how do you
None of this is paid. The
pay
trip to
for it?
Germany, nothing. You pay out
Yeah.
of pocket.
And I was going to ask, hopefully you can share, but we'll respect your privacy. How much does something like that cost as far as the Germany treatment? And then how much does the medicine cost you every week, every month?
The German treatment was of over $40,000 to go there for 6 weeks. And I've been maintaining the mistletoe for these last 3+ years. So I have to buy the mistletoe, which is like $950
A
every
vial?
month. No, for 2 treatments.
Jeez. And it's still cheaper than chemo.
Yeah.
Let me
And
just throw that out there.
yeah. And then I have to pay for his service of infusing it, which is $250 every time.
And you go twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
That still adds up. But
Oh, it all adds up. It's just, and then I was doing acupuncture here. There's a doctor here in Cincinnati that's an oncologist acupuncturist.
oh, I didn't even know they existed.
Mm-hmm. And I went to him for a period of time. And that was $100 a week. I mean, it's just all, I don't
It
know how
adds up.
it does. And God is good. That's all I can tell you. Because
God is working every day, Debbie. Hearing you recite those numbers, I think about the chemo treatment that I had. And, I don't know if I'm going to lose some doctor friends off of this. So sorry. But chemo, I think I saw one medication was over $2,000. That was one treatment.
yeah.
And I'm like, no, it wasn't $2,000. It was 20 grand. I think it was 20 grand.
Oh my
I think it
gosh.
was 20. I think it was 20 grand. I gotta go back and look. Now, they don't get every penny of that because some of us have insurance, so we're able to, send that through the insurance, and there's a contracted rate.
Right.
That the prescriber or the doctor, and the pharmacy adhere to based on the contract with the individual insurance company. So, you
Mhm.
know, uh, Blue Cross Blue Shield might pay one thing, Cigna might pay another. Just throwing those out there, because they're just the big healthcare companies. I'm not trying to pick one over the other, but when I look at that medication and then I look at what I have to pay, it's nowhere near what someone would have to pay, Debbie, that doesn't have insurance. How do you pay 20 grand for or whatever it is for one treatment? So when you throw out $40,000 for everything that you got, and you were able to shrink this tumor, get out of a wheelchair, come back with a prescription that's still cheaper than chemo, since you can't get radiation, $40,000 doesn't sound so bad. And when you think of doing something like that here in America, that would have probably been over 200 grand. Maybe I'm going crazy,
No,
but
I don't
think
think you're
about
wrong.
that.
Right. I don't think you're too far off. It's insidious, the cost and how those costs can limit you in your health today. And then you put my age in there. Once you get
Hmm.
my age and over,
What are
they're
you,
not too,
40?
they're
You 40,
40.
right? We're the
Oh
same
yeah.
age. That's it.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. It's,
It's draining.
it is.
It leaves you
And
lost
it's,
for words. You're like, I don't know what
mhm,
else to say about it.
no, and you're constantly in a battle finding your own way. It's like there's no captain of your team because they don't talk to each other. It's it's a challenge.
You know, I've heard that, Debbie, before many times, um, that the doctors don't talk to each other. And so you're running around trying to figure things out. I definitely have to give a shout out to my health team. And I think I've said that before, and some of them have agreed to join me, you know, on the show. So I hope people
Mhm.
keep watching. But there's something I feel about Arizona, um, particularly Phoenix and Scottsdale. I mean, I live in Phoenix now, but I started in Scottsdale, and you know, Phoenix is the capital of the state. But since I've been in Arizona, all I see is medicine. You know, they have the Mayo Clinic here, you
Mhm.
know, Honor Health and Banner are their, I think, two of their biggest um, facilities or organizations. And I believe both of them are nonprofit,
Well,
which
you're not, and you're lucky.
I never heard of that before. Yeah, I'm so
Mhm.
blessed because when they said they were nonprofit, I'm like, a hospital, you know, or you know, the different doctors, facilities, and things like that. But when I got diagnosed, you know, again, it was a shock, but they didn't tell me I had 3 to 6 months. So again, I can't even imagine, and I sympathize with you on that. Um, I started with a nurse who I'm now friends with, that broke the news to me, and I had a friend on, I mean, a friend, my aunt on Zoom with me, going through that with me. And the reason I'm telling you this is because from the time I sat down with that nurse to today, my doctors all know each other personally. And maybe that helps their business. I don't know, but it definitely helped me. It's not one
Right.
time I felt where I had to go, oh, I have to call him because he doesn't know this or she has to know that. You know, the oncologist knows the cancer surgeon that cut the cancer out. She works closely with the plastic surgeon that did the reconstructive surgery, and they also know the fertility specialist. And I think
Mhm.
that's important for us to talk about because how is it that we live in the same country? You're chasing your tail because the doctors don't know who's talking to who in one city or one state, and I'm over here like trying to make appointments, and they're like, she did that for you already. That doctor
Mhm.
called this doctor, and they would text each other while I'm sitting in the office.
Yeah.
I was like, why can't everybody have this? This is insane.
Mhm.
You know, I think we need to raise that question, you know, to the
Well,
to the
and
the doctor.
here's the other question that really concerns me. When I came back to Germany, or from Germany, and went back to my oncologist, um, he did not literally ask one question of what did I do? Where did I go? What kind of treatments I got? Nothing. Not a thing. And I thought, wouldn't you be interested if you had a patient walking back in here that looked the way I did when I left? And I came back and I was mobile and functioning again.
That's
No.
mind blowing. Is he still your
And
doctor or have you moved on?
I went to a different oncologist,
Mhm.
but, and I love the oncologist I'm with right now. He's very good, but again, he has entertained some of the alternative approaches, but, and I guess I have to say it must be because of they're working for corporate hospitals. They really can't go out too far on a limb, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that as a takeaway and research that, you know, on some
Mhm.
downtime. And maybe we can get, you know, maybe I'll look for doctors, or maybe if you come across people that are interested in being on the show that would like to speak to that about the
Mhm.
communication of the doctors, you know, let me know. But that that
I
just really
get
strikes
most
a
of my,
chord with me.
right, but like I told you before, I get most of my information like by sitting in an infusion room and somebody was here and
Talking to
tried
the people.
this and
Yep.
this and this and this. And when I was getting mistletoe one time, there was a retired priest in there and he was telling me about a program in Middletown of this nurse practitioner that started wow, she called it Wow, Women of Wellness. And it's
Okay, Women of Wellness, shout out.
yeah, and her church backs her and supports her, and they raise money. And what she does is she provides a 6 weeks course.
Oh, your
Whoops.
iPhone lock. We're back.
There.
Okay.
She founded a 6 weeks course that she provides for free if you've had cancer, any kind. You don't have to show financials. You don't have to go in and do any pre-register, nothing. You call her up and say,
Wow.
and so she then focuses on all the natural healing, the supplements, the food, the rice machine, which is a light treatment, and
Okay.
heat, and a heat treatment, reflexology.
Listen to all this. That's insane.
Yeah,
All the things you can try.
and it's probably a $10,000 value, and it's free to get you started. She gives you all your initial supplements that you need.
Wow.
I mean, she's phenomenal. She is
I guess that's why they call it Wow, because I've been saying wow the whole interview here.
yeah.
So we need to look that up.
Yeah. So I've been to her, and I still go to her. But again, it was through in the infusion room. That's how I found her.
Yeah.
So
Some people told me about some things too in the infusion room. More along the lines of marijuana, but
oh yeah,
it works, they say, or CBD oil. So I'm not gonna knock it.
Nope.
Haven't tried it, but I ain't gonna knock it. That's for sure.
Yeah. But it just saddens me that I mean, I know you don't want to say we're the wealthiest country, but we're not hurting in this country, and we cannot.
Yeah, definitely not hurting.
Treat these, and my heart goes out to people that don't have the financial means to try any of this stuff.
Same here, but it's people like you, Debbie, people like me working together to help educate, those individuals with what we have, because again, everybody doesn't have the same support system that you or I have, right?
Yep.
Especially within our husbands and you with your children. So I want to ask you this, but a sidebar to that is, when you go and see that lady of Wow, please ask her, is she interested in coming on the show? I would love to have her to help educate, maybe the two of you could be on the show at the same time, so we could talk through that. But let me ask you now, Debbie, so where you are now, what, 3 years into this,
over 3, let's see, it was 18, 21, March of
we're almost in
March of 18, so I'm 3 plus few months, years.
Yeah. So where we are with that now, or where you are now, what is your current status with cancer? And I want to ask you also, how are you living with it, dealing with it, and what are the next steps for you, do you think?
Well, it's interesting. We're going to be talking about, I just had a setback of sorts. My one scan, they found a spot on my liver, and then 3 months later, the scan was gone. The spot was gone. Now, I have done different things in between. When I came back here, and with my new oncologist, that was the other thing. In Germany, they only give you 20% chemo to start. They don't start you at 100%. So they build you up. Well, I asked my original oncologist to do that, and he said absolutely not. And then so I went to this other oncologist, and I asked him, would you give me just 20%? And he said absolutely. So for a year and a half, I had, 20% chemo and then the mistletoe and all the other supplements and so on and so forth. So everything kept staying stable, stable, stable. And then finally we said, well, let's drop the chemo back to instead of every other week, every 3 weeks, and then every 4 weeks. And I did the same with my mistletoe, seeing if I could get off of some of it. Now, I don't know if that's why I had a little activity or something going on. I don't know. But the second scan, the spot on the liver was gone. So, and I feel that spot has come and gone throughout my journey. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And they don't know what it is. So, but anyway, then the last
Maybe it's
one that I
God.
had,
God's fighting it, maybe. Yeah.
I know. The ascites, I have a fluid buildup in my stomach now. And I believe it's the, what vein in your liver, I can't think of it right now, is collapsing and not allowing the fluid to get through. So anyway, I had to go and had a paracentesis. I had 2 of them. First time they pulled off like 2 liters. Well, then, we talked about it. And he said, if I got a permanent tube in my side, then I could do it at home. I wouldn't have to go every other day. So when they inserted the tube, they took off 6 liters of fluid.
It's insane.
Insane.
Just in your body, just there.
Yeah, just sitting there. So I have this tube now. So that's my new challenge.
So is the cancer still on the pancreas?
That's the thing. It has not grown. It's not done anything. It's just there.
Just there.
So my oncologist wants to give me more chemo in a combination, and I'm really struggling to decide if I want to do that. I don't know.
That.
I haven't made that decision yet. On the other hand, talking about getting information from different people, my massage therapist here is a 25-year survivor of colon cancer. But she worked with a doctor in North Carolina and who did herbal therapy with her. So I called this doctor in North Carolina, and he said he's had success with treating pancreatic cancer with herbal therapies. So I enrolled in his program, and I've been doing herbal therapies for the last 3 months, whatever.
Okay.
And I think it's just, I think it's doing something. I don't know. I mean, the spot on the liver went away,
Yeah, something's happening. And the natural stuff in prayer. I'm sure a lot of my friends are watching this and they're like, yeah, Tamara has definitely changed if she is talking about prayer. But how can you not change when you deal with the things that you and I have dealt with, and yours is extreme in comparison? But
God,
to look
God
at,
is, like I said, he's good. God is good.
yes, and
He's
looking
really,
at you, Debbie, you're a fighter. You've always been a fighter. I've always known you as a firecracker, let alone a fighter, right?
yeah.
So, I hope that you will come back and join me for another episode, or be willing to come back and join me for another episode, because I feel like there's so much more we could talk about on each one of those little topics that we
you could
covered.
pick one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope it is helpful, at least a start for other people. I mean, I'm not telling them to do what I did. I'm not saying don't do conventional medicine, but I'm saying please explore alternative, because it doesn't hurt you. Now, the doctors will try to make you think it hurts you, but it doesn't. I mean, I've been doing both now in conjunction.
Yeah.
So,
and at the end of the day, it's still your body, right?
That's right. You have to, it's between you and your God, what you're going to do.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I'm definitely going to have you back, and this is where, before I ask you, is there anything else you want to ask? Want to make sure, I mean, not ask or tell, but want to make sure that everyone knows, to continue to follow us on Cancer Called. You can find us on Facebook at cancer_called, Instagram cancer_called, and make sure you visit our website at cancercalled.com. So I'm going to let Debbie close out this episode. Is there anything else, Debbie, that you would like to ask or anything you would like to say to our watchers?
I would just like to compliment you and say, I am so proud of you and impressed that you've got the energy and the drive and the wherewithal to do what you're doing. I mean, you will be making a difference in the lives of many people. If it's just one little snippet that they take away from any of your interviews and can make it happen or work in their situation, is all good. So
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that.
You're the best.
No, you're the best.
Oh,
She's been dealing with me, y'all, for 15 years, and you know how my personality is. I love you, Debbie. I'm giving you a big hug from afar, and I'll be in Cincinnati probably next summer. So we definitely have to do lunch, and I have to spend some hours with you. I really do miss you.
I would love it.
Love you so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.